I think it's going to rain, 12-year-old Jessie Alden told her younger brother, Benny. We need to walk faster if we're going to beat the storm, she said. Jessie gently tugged on Watch's leash. The wire-haired terrier trotted between Benny and Jessie, keeping pace with their quick steps.
I'm going as fast as I can,
Benny replied.
The wind keeps pushing me backward.
He looked ahead toward his 10-year-old sister, Violet, and 14-year-old brother, Henry. Violet was struggling with the zipper on her jacket, and Henry's hat kept flying away in the strong gusts.
It's too cold,
Henry complained as he swooped his hat off the ground for the 5th time and set it firmly over his short brown hair.
Taking Watch for a walk seemed like a good idea an hour ago.
It was warmer then, Violet responded with a shiver. Her 2 high pigtails whipped back in the wind. She gave up on the zipper and wrapped the jacket around her instead. We should have stayed closer to home. Violet shoved her hands into her pockets. Nothing to do about it now, Jessie said, as she and Benny caught up with their siblings. Benny was breathing heavily.
This is a crazy strong wind. If you tied a string to me, I'd be a 6-year-old kite.
Jessie took Benny's hand in hers and squeezed it tight. I'll make sure you don't blow away, she said, holding him firmly.
I have an idea.
Henry pointed to the nearby gate of the Greenfield Cemetery.
There's a shortcut this way.
Shortcut?
Benny stared past the tall, ornate iron gate toward the moss-covered tombstones.
Sounds good to me. Let's go.
He rushed forward. Hang on. Jessie put a hand on Benny's shoulder. Cemeteries are spooky. Jessie was very brave, but she was also cautious. Are you sure it's okay with you, Benny?
I'm not a chicken.
Benny put his hands on his hips.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Once we get to Main Street, we can stop at a shop and call Grandfather for a ride, Henry told them.
The quicker we get home, the faster we can eat.
At that, Benny's stomach rumbled.
My tummy says it's almost dinner time.
It's only 4 o'clock,
Henry told Benny after checking his watch. Benny patted his belly.
It feels like dinner time. My tummy needs a snack.
You always need a snack,
Henry laughed. Jessie looked to Violet. Violet often kept quiet about things. Jessie wanted to make sure Violet got a vote before they decided to go through the graveyard. Are you scared, Violet? Jessie asked. A little, Violet admitted. I don't know if I believe in ghosts or not. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Violet's voice tapered off. I suppose if everyone else wants to go that way, it's all right.
Great!
Benny pushed open the gate.
We all agree. Come on!
Jessie held Watch's leash as they stepped onto the cobblestone path. The sky grew darker with each step they took. Violet moved closer to Jessie. Henry walked ahead with Benny. They were checking out the gravestones, taking turns reading the names and dates out loud. Greenfield Cemetery was built on a hillside. The wind howled through a thick grove of trees planted in the oldest section. Tombstones in that part dated as far back as the late 1700s. There's a lot of history around us, Jessie remarked. Benny pointed at a tombstone. He sounded out the engraved word.
Soldier.
The soldier died in 1781. That means he probably fought in the American Revolution, Henry told Benny. I'll read you a book about the war when we get to the house.
Jessie, Violet, Henry, and Benny lived with their grandfather. After their parents died, they ran away and hid in a railroad boxcar in the woods. They had heard that Grandfather Alden was mean. Even though they'd never met him, they were afraid. But when he finally found the children, they discovered he wasn't mean at all. Now the children lived with him, and their boxcar was a clubhouse in the backyard. Watch was the stray dog they'd found on their adventures. As the first drops of rain began to fall in the cemetery, Watch barked toward a far-off building. It was along another stone pathway past the trees.
Is that a house?
Benny asked, squinting his eyes. Drops of rain speckled his thick, dark brown hair.
I think that's the main office,
Henry replied.